As Hurricane Idalia nears catastrophic hurricane strength, Disney World is known to withstand hurricanes. Now, Disney World, they have closed in the past for hurricanes, and Hurricane Idalia will be no different if it decides to shift tracks and head towards Disney World. So, as Hurricane Idalia is incoming, Disney World has released its closures so far. So, all Disney theme parks and Disney Springs are going to remain open under normal conditions. But you're going to be want to able to check back for updates. But Disney's Typhoon Lagoon Water Park will be closed on August 30th due to the inclement weather. And the Winter Summerland Miniature Golf and Fantasia Gardens Miniature Golf will be closed on August 30th as well. Now, this is a statement from Walt Disney World, for guests staying at Fort Wilderness Resort and Campgrounds. As they continue to monitor the weather, they're asking all Fort Wilderness guests to remove and stow all outside items, including decor, and take in camper awnings by 6 p.m. on Tuesday, August 29th. If they'd like to depart early, they can. So there's also going to be some travel flexibility at this time. Change and cancellation fees imposed by Disney will be waived for check-in dates of August 28th through September 5th. Now, guests currently staying at Disney World resorts whose travel plans are impacted by the storm may receive a discounted rate to extend their stay through the evening of August 31st if needed by visiting the front desk. So, Florida residents are evacuating from the storm, and first responders are assisting in storm-related recovery efforts may also receive 50% off Disney World Resort hotel stays on the evenings of August 29th through the 31st. For evacuees, you're going to want to call 407-WDISNEY for details. So, although Florida is a hotbed for hurricanes and tropical storms, Walt Disney World is probably the safest place to be during a hurricane in Florida. Disney has a fully planned protocol and policy for nearly every emergency and safety of guests and cast members. It has always been its top priority. With that being said, enduring a hurricane at Disney isn't as easy as just packing a bag and getting out of Dodge. It's highly likely any guests at the resorts when the storm hits will be forced to stay in their rooms or accommodations on property. However, that doesn't mean the magic is gone. So, inside during a hurricane, while you're confined, to your lodge, the cast members still can make experiences as enjoyable as they could. Now, while Idalia isn't supposed to hit Florida until Wednesday morning, which is the showing of this video, guests should still adhere to precautions. So, what you're going to want to do is just stay up to date on all the National Weather Services and what they're saying to do to either secure your home, your location, stay indoors. Because Walt Disney World is already one of the most safest places and secure places in Central Florida, but they do have a history of handling hurricanes. The resort is always going to have storages of food, water, and Wi-Fi and generator power ready to endure whatever elements might bring through the storm. Additionally, cast members, they are highly trained staffed at the Disney parks, always make thorough announcements regarding things like park closures and safety procedures, and any Disney guest should adhere to any and all cast member instructions with or without a tropical storm warning. Furthermore, the Disney parks and its cast members and volunteers involved strive for the welfare of all its visitors and have shown to be in compliance with all state ordinances regarding hurricane safety. Now, dangerous weather is a surefire way to take the magic out of any vacation, but there are a few places more prepared to handle these events better than Disney World. Now, even some of the characters get involved, and they bring a little bit of extra guest magic. As long as guests follow customer directions and procedures, they can get back to having their magical stay in no time. So, I've seen during some hurricanes that Disney World, I do see that some of the cast members, are still out there trying to make magic happen for its guests, whether it's rain or shine. With Idalia, it's no different. It's gonna come in. It should hit north of the Orlando area, but you still might get some of those outer bands that are going to be coming in that could affect, the weather. I think they're expecting high winds, possibility of tornadoes, and a lot of rain, and maybe some flooding. But that doesn't mean that Disney World might not operate as normal. Disney World is very prepared for anything that happens related to weather, especially for these hurricanes, because they are in Florida. They've dealt with these so many times. It's only been a handful of times that Disney World has closed due to a hurricane. But with that being said, pay attention to what is being stated out by Disney, whether or not you guys are going to have to stay in place when you're out there during if you're out there right now at Disney World during this hurricane. Just be vigilant, be careful with what everything that Disney is releasing, what they are saying, because they know, what's best for the guests and their cast members. Now, with that being said, like I said earlier, food will be provided, to the guests there, just in case if you do have to shelter in place. Entertainment will still be going on inside the resorts. I believe during Hurricane Ian that they were still able to do character meet and greets inside the resorts, inside the dining halls, and for people who are able to make it out to the dining halls, especially in like the contemporary, and in places like Pop Century and in in Coronado Springs, where some of the hotels, their main lobbies and their dining areas are attached to where guests are staying in the hotels, where they can actually just go right down the elevator and go right into the dining hall, where characters can easily meet and greet with people, and they can get still get the full magic of being at Disney without being at the parks, even though the parks could be closed. As of right now, Disney has not released any statements of saying that the parks will be closed. They are operating fully operating hours as of right now, but the storm is scheduled to hit as of this morning, and Disney may have make some changes as the day goes forward, as the storm does make a landfall. It is scheduled to make landfall as a Category 3 overnight on Wednesday. But like I said, the dining halls and the main lobbies will be open for guests to have any questions. But with that being said, like I said earlier, Disney World is the safest place you can be during a hurricane due to the food supply, the water supply, the generators, the backup generators that are happening now. And like I said earlier as well, if you're going to be having any impacts to your travel, as your flight's getting either canceled or delayed for the next few days, throughout the 31st of August, they will make accommodations to provide guests up to a few extra nights, at a discounted rate, to be able to provide you to be able to stay extra longer because your flight has been delayed or canceled due to the storms and any flight cancellations. So like I said, that is one of the greatest things about Disney World, is they still try to keep that magic, and they are willing to work with you, especially during a major event like this, for you to be able to stay safe, and know that, even though you won't be able to go to the parks if they are closed during that time, that you will be able to still have some of that Disney magic, because even though Idalia is currently sitting, I think north of Cuba, at the west tip of Cuba, and it is heading towards the upper part of the Florida Panhandle. It's like I said, it should miss, but it is going to be hitting at a Category 3 hurricane when it's supposed to make landfall on the Florida Gulf Coast as of Wednesday morning. A hurricane warning right now is in Tallahassee and in Sarasota, but hurricane watches and tropical storm warnings are in the Orlando area, and that is something that you need to be able to look out for. And like I said, while the storm information and the event of a tropical storm or hurricane and other severe weather, Walt Disney World is currently operating under normal conditions. Now, like I said, they're going to closely monitor the path of the projected weather, and they're going to continue to prioritize the safety of guests and cast members But the amusement parks have announced no plans of closing its gates or even closing early, besides just the water parks. But like I said, if you do get stuck inside your hotel room, there is lots of stuff inside your hotel room. You have your shower, you have a refrigerator, and your shampoos and your conditioners and stuff like that. You have a bed, and you be able to watch the weather because you have a TV in there. So there is things that you can be able to do while you're inside your room, and then also if you're able to make it out to the dining areas, so that way you can be able to still have that guest interaction with some of the characters that are going to be doing those meet and greets during that time. So like I said, Disney World is one of the safest places to be during a hurricane because of all that they do provide. You just got to make sure that you keep up with the weather and stay tuned for any more updates that Disney is going to be giving at that time. But with all that being said, I hope that anybody who is in the path of these storms has evacuated, and if they have found their way to Disney, to know that they are probably going to be in the safest place that they can be. And if Disney World does close down, for any period of time during these storms, just know that you will still be able to have the Disney magic, because characters will be meeting. You will still have food. You will still have water. You will have shelter. And Disney is built to withstand these type of storms. So therefore, like I said, it's one of the safest places you can be. And hopefully, any of the damage that is done with this storm Idalia that is hitting, that it is minimal, and that people will be able to get to safety, and there's not going to be a whole lot of damage with the storm, even though I know it probably is going to be because it is a Category 3 hurricane. But hopefully everybody out there will be safe, and they will adhere to the warnings. And if you are at Disney World, just know you are at the safest place that you can be. Just stay vigilant, stay tuned for any updates from Disney World, any closures, and stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.